What's going on, guys? I'm Tommy, and I'm coming at you with another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Hot Toys Coruscant Guard from the Clone Wars. You guys should know by now, I'm way too deep in the Star Wars Hot Toys game, and recently I did pre-order the new Darth Sidious from Revenge of the Sith, and as I thought more about how I was going to display that figure, I said, hey, I really would love to display a Coruscant Guard behind him, as those are the troopers you see him with quite frequently in that movie in many different scenes. And this figure is one that's sold out on Sideshow.com, the place I go to for most of my Hot Toys orders and pre-orders. So fortunately for me, fate would have it that Titterful, who is a member of the Blitz Transmissions Discord, put in my trading post, my buy sell trade channel, that he was selling one of his from his collection. So I hit him up. He sold this to me for $200 shipped. I'm extremely grateful for that. This is a figure that's definitely going to be going up in price once that Darth Sidious comes out. So it's pretty low on the aftermarket right now, a little below retail. So definitely, if you want one, get your hands on it now. Got to give a shout out to Titterful. We've done plenty of deals over the last couple of years in multiple different Discords. So I got to give a shout out to him, and very, very happy to be adding this guy to my collection. So let's start off. Let's take a look at the packaging. This is the standard style of packaging that we get with Star Wars Hot Toys. You have your drab black background with a promo shot of the figure from about the waist up in a nice little pose there. You have a chrome Star Wars logo beneath it, and then you have a little wraparound banner that covers the lid of the box. On the front of this, you have in the blue and gold for the Clone Wars colors the Star Wars logo. This is the TMS number 025, name of the character, and you get another promo shot here with a different accessory in hand. Now, this wraparound banner kind of goes around the side here. You'll see this image kind of bleeds onto the next side, and you get all that same information with the name. Don't forget your Hot Toys logo at the bottom right corner on the front of the box, and on this side of the box you get another really cool, much more complete looking glam shot for this figure. As far as the back of the box goes, that's where you're going to find a lot of the stuff that we as collectors don't really care about all that much, all your legalese and warnings and things of that nature. On the bottom of the box, you're going to have a Star Wars logo, and on the top of the box, guess what? You're going to have another Star Wars logo. So with the packaging covered, I'd say we should get this guy open so that we can check him out. Removing the lid from the box on the figure, we are then left with a really cool art insert, and you actually get to see two of these guys next to each other. This is a great way that Hot Toys actually markets getting multiples of a figure, or just, you know, getting other figures in the Star Wars Hot Toys lineup, and these look great together. All you do to remove this, there's no tape or glue that needs cut to do so, and we are then left with the figure in the tray with all of his accessories. So why don't we get him opened and we'll check out the figure first. All right, here is our Shock Trooper, our Coruscant Guard out of the box. Let's take a closer look so we can check out all that detail. All right, so taking a closer look at our Shock Trooper head to toe, you'll see kind of a blanket statement I want to make about this figure before I go any further is just how good the weathering looks on this guy. This is very reminiscent of the weathering patterns and style that you see in Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, which is great, and I think that they've translated that very well. You've got almost like a sandblasted look on the red. All the red paint applications have lots of scratching or speckling to them, and in multiple colors. Not only that darker black color, but also in the white, showing the bare color of the armor underneath the painted over parts. I also like all the marks of the carbon scoring on the figure, again, really reminding me of the style of the weathering that you had in Revenge of the Sith. The armor is very nice. It's not a stark white. It's got a lot of weathering and dirtiness to it, and I really like that about this figure. I love the Shock Trooper look here, and all of the lines look very nice and clean. Everything is very cleanly applied. You have a nice glossy black visor on the figure. I like that the fin is that nice red color, and again, just lots and lots of detail. So far, I'm not seeing anything they missed. All of the armor is loosely attached to a ribbed body glove on this figure, and if you have a clone trooper in the Hot Toys line, that's kind of what you can expect. All the armor is either attached with an elastic band like the shoulder armor is here, or the rest of it, like the rest of the arms and the carapace, things like that, are just applied to the figure. So if you remove the head, you could probably just completely shed this figure of all its armor and get down to the body glove. Again, I keep reiterating, I really love the detail here on all of the armor. I think they've done a great job. All right, so it looks like the bicep armor was just on backwards here, wasn't on the wrong arm, so that's good. But, you know, regardless, I do think that they hit all of the key details on this trooper. I like that the belt has these little extra details here. All the paint, again, looks really nice. Your thermal detonator is weathered very nicely, as is the back of the carapace too. Everything is very evenly weathered too. You know, they don't neglect the back of the figure here. And I have several Hot Toys clone troopers. I collect all the 501st releases, so having all those, I kind of know what I'm getting into, and this is definitely a great base figure here. The leg armor is great. The one biggest difference that Hot Toys made from what you see in Revenge of the Sith is that they increased the gap between the cod piece and the top of the thigh armor, just so that you can get more range of motion out of this figure. Now, something that I love about this figure is just how dirty he is down by the feet here. Look at all that detail there. I love all that painted detail. I love the weathering. I love when the troopers look dirty, especially at this scale. You're paying such a premium price. You kind of expect that from a more premium product, as opposed to like a $25 Hasbro figure. I don't really have that expectation that it's going to be weathered with movie accuracy, whereas this figure looks great, and I love how there's so much red at the top and bottom of this figure. Overall, really happy with how this figure looks, but honestly, no surprise there. That's an expectation that I have that Hot Toys meets every single time. So let's cover articulation on this guy, and I do have to say I really do also like the articulation on the Hot Toys clones. So you have a barbell jointed neck, so you've got a ball joint up inside the helmet here, and then a ball joint at the bottom of the neck as well. So you're going to be able to get lots of range out of this figure. As you can see, you can kind of bring the head forward and really help him to look down. You can also bring the head up a bit, really help the figure to look up a really nice amount too. He's got a lot of tilt opportunity in there, even with all the armor pieces, and there is a good right and left, obviously. Now, the way the shoulders work, you do have a butterfly joint here, so you got plenty of range out of that. You can really bring those arms back just as much as you can forward. There's also a bit of like a drop down shoulder, I guess I would call it, so you can kind of see you can like bring the shoulders down a little bit more, or you can bring them up closer to the body to give him more broad shoulders. The armor moves itself out of the way very nicely, so that you can actually get right up to that 90-degree mark on the hinge at the shoulder. And then as far as the swivel goes, you could technically get a full 360 degrees out of that swivel. However, due to the body glove, there are limitations with the fabric stretching, but if you were to remove the body glove from this figure, the base body could do the full range of motion. Our shock trooper is going to have a bicep swivel built into the arm, which is nice. What we would call in the action figure world a pinless double jointed elbow. It's ratcheted, and as you can see, you can get that thing to go to the limitations of the human anatomy. That is fantastic. That's exactly what we want to see on a figure like this. The straps at the elbows are very malleable, and that's a good thing too, so you can really get the most range out of those arms. The way that the wrists work, because of the wrist pegs with the swappable hand options, basically whatever way you swivel the wrist will determine what way the hinge works on the hands, and I think that that's a very ingenious system. This guy has a ball joint at the waist. He might also have a ball joint at the midsection, not that I would know, because with the armor being so bulky and so limited in motion at that midsection, you're not going to get much range out of it. At the hips, this guy has a ratcheted ball joint, and that's to help support the figure when he's in more dynamic poses. That has some really good range. There is a thigh swivel built in here, which works great, and he has a pinless double jointed knee. Again, we're getting past that 90-degree mark, which anything past 90 degrees is great for an action figure. And then down at the ankles, we have kind of like a barbell joint here, so you're going to have a joint that's kind of inside the shin here, and then a joint that's inside the ankle. You're going to be able to get all kinds of rotation out of that. You can bring those ankles up nicely, you can bring them down, and you even get some good pivot out of them too. So overall, I've always been happy with the articulation scheme of the current Hot Toys Clone Trooper, and honestly, if they never change it, I'll be a happy camper. So without further ado, let's start taking a look at some of the accessories this guy comes with. So because this is a pre-owned figure, I'm not 100% sure if the open idle hands that this guy has, which kind of double as, you know, gripping hands for, you know, some accessories like thermal detonators, which I'll show later. But this is what he came with when Titterfold delivered him to me. So he may come with a different set of hands out of the box, but as far as my copy of the figure goes, because it was pre-owned, he does have a pair of either open idle hands or kind of gripping hands. Now, as far as additional pairs of hands go, as most Hot Toys do, you're going to get a few different options here. So the first one is going to be a little bit different from those hands we had before. These are are what I would call C gripping hands. So these are meant to hold a more cylindrical accessory. He does come with one that matches that kind of vibe, but these are very nice, and all the hand plates are weathered to match each other. So every left hand plate and every right hand plate is weathered the exact same between pairs of hands. Our shock trooper, obviously, you would hope he comes with this. He's going to come with 2 trigger finger hands, one for the left hand and for the right hand, and that's great. If we wanted him to dual wield, if we wanted to make him left-handed or right-handed, we're able to do that. What's interesting about some Hot Toys is they don't always do the swappable hands in pairs. Sometimes you get unique hand options that are only for one hand. So for the left hand here, you get a pointing hand or a nose-picking hand, whatever you'd prefer it to be, and for the right hand, you get a nice splayed gesture hand. This is nice for maybe a command presence, or maybe he's telling some troopers to move forward. We'll be able to use this in some fun poses. Swapping hands is very easy to do. Just apply some gentle pressure and kind of twist and pull your old hand off, and then you just put your new hand onto the figure. Sometimes with the gauntlet armor, it can get a little frustrating trying to do that. However, it is pretty easy to do, and once it's locked in place, you'll kind of feel it and hear it snap into place. And as you can see, once you get those new hands in there, it's very fun to get these figures posed up. I imagine right now this particular Coruscant guard is telling somebody to stop and walk the other way. Another accessory that came in the same tray with all the swappable hand options is this thermal detonator, an accessory that was pretty typical with Clone Trooper releases at the time. This is very nicely detailed. You have the little red for the indicator there, as well as lots of little panel lining here. There is also the landmine version of that, which is a separate accessory that this comes with, and this is just the top half of the thermal detonator. This is like one that you would plant like a landmine. Our Coruscant guard is also going to come with some other accessories here, one being the DC-15 long rifle. This might be the rifle I end up displaying this figure with, just because we see them quite a bit in the movie with this longer rifle. However, I might also do the shorter one. I'm kind of torn. However, this rifle is very, very nicely detailed. They give it a nice metallic look with some very light dry brushing and lots of just really, really nice detail here. Overall, a very nice looking blaster, and a very tall one at that, coming right up to the character's chest. Our trooper is also going to come with the DC-15A or the DC-15S, depending on who you ask. This also has some really nice detail here. It's even got some like rusted color for these little bolts here, and man, I love the detail on the same kind of weathering that the other blaster had, and it has the adjustable stock. However, it doesn't go all the way back behind the blaster. I will say though, it is kind of cool that it is a feature, but it is a little annoying that it doesn't go all the way to the back of the blaster like it's supposed to, but I guess that's neither here nor there. Now, an accessory that comes with this release that I feel like is really unique is the Electro Staff that he comes with. This is from a Clone Wars Season 5 episode where Ahsoka's being held captive, and Anakin is trying to force his way into the prison to talk to Ahsoka, and we have Commander Fox who interacts with Anakin, and there are some shock troopers with these Electro Staff on kind of guard duty. Again, same, very similar weathering. However, this does come with some electro effects. This comes in the tray with the hands here. These are done in a nice, very nice gold color. Now, all you do with these effects is you take one of the open ends here and you just kind of slide it onto the Electro Staff. You do get 2 of these effects, one to go on each end of the Electro Staff, and I think it gives a really, really nice effect. This is a very vibrant, deep saturated yellow, and I think it fits perfectly for this accessory. Our Coruscant guard does obviously come with the display stand that a lot of your Star Wars Hot Toys are going to come with. You have the standard Jedi Venator Cruiser or Imperial Star Destroyer flooring, and then you have your nice chrome plaque on the front giving you the Star Wars logo and the character's name. Not too much detail as far as paint goes, but as far as the display base goes, this is all I really want. Our Coruscant guard does also come with the crotch grabber style of stand. This has a nice little wire piece here with these 2 prongs that tuck up under the crotch of the figure to help him stand up. This is adjustable up and down, and it can be taken out completely and placed back into the stand. This clips into the base of the stand here, and you'll feel that kind of pop into place, and once it's there, your stand is ready to go. And of course, a very consumer-friendly accessory that is included with this set is the swappable set of wrist pegs. These are great. I love that these get included with almost every Hot Toy that I pick up, and I have so many of them now that I have like 24 Hot Toys in my collection, that I have had some of my figures break when I'm messing around with them, and having these swappable wrist pegs is a lifesaver. So now we've checked out the figure, we've checked out the accessories, the articulation, all that, so let's get this guy posed up in a couple cool ways. Now, one thing I will say, when you're attaching an accessory to a hand, it's always best to have the hand removed from the body on a Hot Toy when you're doing so, just to avoid any frustration of, you know, maybe potentially breaking the figure or breaking the wrist pegs. It's just a lot easier to then attach the hand with the accessory back to the figure. Here's a great first pose with our shock trooper here. I imagine he's telling somebody they need to back off, or he's gonna have to use some crowd control tactics with that electro staff. This is great, and the electro staff fits very nicely in those C-gripping hands. Now, kind of continuing our posing here, maybe doing a little bit of a sequence here. Maybe he had to tell these people that they really need to back off, so now he's threatening to use that electro staff. This fits really nicely in a two-handed pose, and it looks very natural in hand. Now, here's a great pose right here. This is one that I pulled directly out of Revenge of the Sith. This is how one of the shock troopers are posed up when they're searching for Yoda after his duel with Darth Sidious in the Senate chamber. And man, this is so cool that you're able to just get such an accurate looking pose from the movie with this figure. And here's a really nice one-legged running pose with this character. This is, I imagine, one of the troopers running back to Palpatine's shuttle to go get the medical pod for Darth Vader, who is newly scarred on Mustafar. Again, a great center of gravity on this figure. This was very easy to get him into a very realistic looking running pose. And just to kind of flex the range of articulation this figure has, here he is in a very nice kneeling pose, kneeling and shooting. This is a very stable pose. I'm not worried about this figure falling over on the display. He looks great. But with that, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this review. This is definitely a figure worth picking up for your collection, and I'll say it again, get this figure before Darth Sidious comes out if you have any intention of picking it up. He's very inexpensive on the aftermarket right now for Hot Toys, and I feel like his price is going to shoot up once Palpatine comes out and is in people's collections. They're gonna want these guys to flank him. So again, make sure you pick him up. I gotta give a huge shout out to Titterful from my Discord for selling me this guy. I get great deals pop into that Discord every now and again, so make sure to join that Discord. Link is in the description below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. If you are an ARC Trooper in my Patreon, you would have seen this review early. If you'd like access to early content, monthly giveaways, and other awesome benefits, the link to my Patreon is in the description below for just $4.99 a month. If you're a fan of the reviews I do here on YouTube, or you just want to support the YouTube channel more directly, you could also check out my YouTube channel membership, Rancor Battalion. For just 99 cents a month, you get exclusive badges, priority replies in my comments section, and you get to vote on what I review next for the channel, in addition to seeing those reviews early as opposed to all the content like you get with Patreon. If you'd like some Blitz Transmissions swag, you could check out the Blitz Transmissions Armory over on Printify. Link to that is in the description below, as well as, again, my Discord and all my social media. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.
Breaking off. All units, fire at will. Squad 2, pick your targets. Too many, Captain. Watch your stabilizer, Gold 6. Anybody, cover me. I got 2 vultures on my tail. You've got to hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them. I'm hit. I'm hit. Where's our reinforcements?